I'm sorry to have to turn you down. But I have no love for anything connected with miners or mining.
But, Mr. Martin, you've just said you know nothing about miners and mining.
I don't, except that miners have robbed me of a lifelong friend.
In what way?
He was my best friend, a padre during the war. In France, his duties brought him in contact with a good many miners. He listened to their tales, as I've listened to yours, of the hardships of a miner's life, barefooted children, crying for food in the depths of winter.
Aye. Perhaps he'd seen the distribution of boots and shoes to the little ones in bad times. It seems all wrong to me, Mr. Martin, when things are upside down and fits have to stop, that it's little kiddies that have to suffer most. We grown-ups, well, we can just take a hitch in our belts and carry on. But it doesn't seem right to me that kiddies should suffer, should go without boots and shoes, without anything in their little tummies. It's all true. I've seen it. I've shared it. But how did that break your friendship?
Well, after the war, he decided to devote his future life in helping in the work of the miners' welfare. We gradually drifted apart. He went his way, I went mine. What happened to him, I haven't the slightest idea. I only know I'd give anything to see his face and hear his cheery voice again.
And you hate the miners because of that?
Yes.
Well, what about the miner himself? He's always losing someone, not only friends, but his nearest and dearest. Fathers, brothers, sons.
Yes, yes, I know.
And the miner's not a bad chap, really, Mr. Martin. He's just the same as other men. He has his sports, hobbies, and pastimes. Some of them prefer the quieter games, such as the old world game of bowls. And they've got some grand greens, too, a credit to them. Have you ever played bowls, Mr. Martin? Where I come from, they call it an old man's game. I think that's because the young'uns can't play it. The old uns always... And the young'uns, well, they generally lose, of course. They like a game with more kick in it. Oh, yes. Miners like rested country. He's football mad. You know, Mr. Martin, a good many of our best international footballers were reared in colliery teams. Started their training on refuse heaps of coal pits, with a bundle of rags for a ball. Aye, they got plenty of hard knocks there, I can tell you. Then there's another game the miners play, the old university game of fives. They call it handball. They play it with a soft ball. One of them bangs it with his fist against a wall. Side of a house is best place. Then t'other fella bangs it, just like tennis. In fact, they call it pitman's tennis. It's a rare game, that. They train for it just like prize fighters train, and it's work while it lasts, I can tell you. They play for wages, aye. The miner, you know, is like rest on us. He likes his little gamble. When he's out to gamble with, sometimes he gets desperate and have a tanner on a horse or a whippet. That's a dog, the miner's greyhound. His dog's everything to him. You know, I've known miners go without dinner themselves so's dog could be fed. That's when he's training for a race. Oh, miner loves his dog, all right. Two miners were going to work one Monday morning, and one said to t'other, "I didn't see thee all day yesterday, Bill." "No," said Bill. "Dog deed I set it a neat, and I couldn't come out yesterday. The fella looked such a fool without a dog." Aye, but they're fond of all animals. Aye. They've won lots of prizes, too, with their dogs, real beauties. And I just wish you could come with me some pit and have a look at some of them pit ponies in the stables. You know, what folks says are cruelly treated. Cruelly.
Come on. Come on.
Why, a pony's life down fits a gentleman's life. Comfortable home, well-groomed, clean, and plenty of grub, and a good nurse to look after him. They're a lot better off than most horses on top. Oh, aye. Miner loves all animals, I can tell you. Why, their coats, they shine like silver. Even cats down fit. They have a good time, too. It's a question which comes first, you know, with Miner, whether it's dogs or pigeons. You know, homing pigeons. I don't know if you've ever done any pigeon flying. By gum, Miner gets some excitement out of that. You should see him on a big race day. They generally do the racing on set, and if you joined them while they were waiting for the birds to come in, you'd get as excited as they do. Derby isn't in it. They train their birds to settle as soon as possible. That finishes their flight. And there's some fun when a bird gets in first, but we ain't settle. He's called anything but a bird. They keep him in their gardens, you know. And talking of gardens, you'd be surprised if you saw some miners' gardens. They grow everything. Flowers is most popular. Aye, they train their kiddies to love them as well. And I don't think they could love out nicer. Some of the vegetables they grow, well, they're amazing. You know, they show them at local shows. You know, I've seen pods with as many as 20 peas in some of them. They could do with 40 to feed hungry mouths of some of the youngsters. Aye, they're keen on gardening right enough. I know lots of chaps who've lost a limb, arm or a leg, still carrying on in their spare time. Well, I reckon it's nice to see them in their old age, resting in the gardens they've worked in for years. You'll see them look round, garden, and tell their sons and daughters that the garden's not as well kept as it used to be. That's 'cause they can't look after it themselves, they're too old. Aye, well, it's a grand thing if they could all end their days in comfort, just like that.
And they sing in spite of the danger ahead?
Danger? I haven't told you of the dangers yet, and there are dangers, real ones. Let me mention it. Some of the miners take a hobby of rescue, spend most of their spare time training at the rescue station, learning to use the various machines, how to give signals to any of the pals who might happen to be buried in a fall, how to get them breathing again, with the use hands or with the machines, tramping round the yard for hours and hours, getting used to the machines, which weigh, about 40 pounds. Then after that, they go into the smoke gallery. That's a room full of smoke, fumes, and 120 degrees of heat. They go in and out until they can stop in a couple of hours or so, and come out as lively as the canary they take in with them. Every miner leaves home each day with the knowledge that the death roll in British mines exceeds 1,000 a year, and at any moment his name may swell the list. Well, he sets off in the morning, gets to pit shaft, enters cage, knowing full well it may be his last journey alive. He arrives below ground, and that's the time the real dangers start. First, there's the danger of being knocked down by trains from home. That's not a small danger, because they're not like these trains, I can tell you. The dangers of the eyesight. Eye injuries are only too common in the mines. And your eyesight, Mr. Martin, I think you'll agree, is a very precious thing. There's the pony drivers, too. They have their share of accidents. I can almost picture one in my own mind now, breaking the rules by riding in the mine. Well, perhaps he was tired, and perhaps it may be his last ride. And that's where the ambulance man comes in and gets his reward for all the time he spent in training. I reckon that ambulance work is the finest hobby of all. They never know when the call for their services is coming. They may be hard at work in another part of the pit when there's a shout, "Oi, come on, Bill! Oi, Bill! We've a man injured down in our place."